Hi, hello. Sorry about the hold up. More technical malarkeys. Um, Still setting up. So thank you so much for holding on for us.
Hello, hello, hello. Whoever's there. I think my mom is watching last week's episode, thinking we're on live.
Oh, that's so sweet.
She just sent me a message saying, "Hey, you look good." And I'm like, "Are we on live? I don't think we're even on yet."
She's watching a completely different podcast.
Last week's episode.
I haven't got any coffee. I haven't done a sound check. What was the last book you read?
Last book I read was
Oh, that is
Carnage from
quiet.
Amazing Spider-Man 361 to 363.
Wow.
Yeah, went back to the very beginning. Read it this morning for the first time. This is the first time I ever read those issues.
I don't think I've actually read them. Oh no, I did read them. Of course I did. I was quite surprised.
Really?
I didn't read them when they came out. I read them in a reprint book because my mum used to buy me a reprint series that I had a lot of the issues for anyway. But I
hmm
dropped Amazing Spider-Man eventually. I dropped Spidey
In the
in the
90s?
90s, yeah.
It was a
Around that
lot.
time.
It was too much.
The four, but why is that pinging? Can you hear that?
Nope, I cannot.
Why is it doing that? Right, I'm going to see if anyone can hear it when they come on. Is anyone on?
And I don't think so. Doesn't
Okay.
show yet.
Damn it, we're a bit late. Right, while it's doing that, actually, I'm going to unplug my headphones for a bit.
Show yet. Damn
There we go. I'm going to just put the kettle on.
it. Okay, yeah, do your thing. Yansum, how the hell are you, buddy?
Yes, sir.
We're getting it together, Yansum. It's gonna happen. Yansum, what are some of your top books of 2024? You're the water cooler sound. Boom, BC Scrubs, yes. Welcome to the show, buddy. How's it going? Boom, it is about to happen. Hello, hello, you beautiful people. That is from our good pal Omega Bread. How's it going, everybody? Hello. Dave is just getting his cup of Joe, as they say in the United States.
I
His
need
cup
to
of
lose some
coffee.
weight.
I wouldn't have ever noticed or thought anything of it, Dave.
I am getting chubby, not in a good way. I need to stop this freaking. Did anyone hear a boing just now?
It's not coming through.
It's not coming through, so it's just me.
Yeah.
All right. When I've
I
got.
heard it before. Before we went live, I heard it, but not
Yeah.
anymore. Yeah.
Oh wait.
Oh,
Is that yes? You
yes.
heard a
They did.
noise?
They said they heard the beep. I didn't. But we
Why
could
is
wait
it
for it
doing
before
it?
we drop the boom.
I've
Yes,
opened.
boing thing. People heard a boing.
Why is it doing that? I can't. I don't want to restart Skype at this point. We might have to just try and ignore it. How often is it doing it? You haven't heard it, so you don't be able to tell. It's a silly question. Sorry. Right, I'll be right with you.
No problemo. So, friends of the show. Yeah, last week's mailbag, BC. That was very cool. I know I was pretty blown away by it myself. Especially, and again, I'll share it with you guys because you're our regular friends of the show. But you go to these Comic Cons, and some of these signatures that these guys charge nowadays, it's pretty pricey. So I was very, very appreciative of the fact that I got a couple of books signed from him, for sure. Not because it's resale value or it's like, ah, look at how much it's worth. It's just I want to get a book from him. He was in Toronto at Fan Expo, and I was just like, maybe I gotta think twice about that. So very, very lucky for sure. Yeah, very grateful. What a treat, right? Talking to your favorite somebody of whatever it is that you like. It's pretty cool. So um, I heard a lot. Yeah, that was probably your wife. or maybe mine. She just came home from work, but again, headphones. I didn't hear the background noise.
Pink did it again.
Yanson's been reading Preacher.
Excellent.
Yeah.
One of my top
I
5.
wonder
I reckon.
What's that? Preacher?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a undeniably strong series for sure. It's not for the faint of heart, as I often say when stuff is like NC-17. I wouldn't even say that book is rated R. I think it's a little bit above rated R. But
By modern standards, definitely.
what a brilliant book, and as good as a comic can be. Like, wow.
Yeah, that's how to write a comic. It's one of my favorite things about it, and I think I mentioned it. Didn't we do our life-changing comics episode? I think it was last year.
That was a good episode.
That was fun, right? But I think I might have chosen it for that. But it was the thing about was it like Tommy the Eunuch or Jimmy the Eunuch? I can't remember what his name is, and they hire him to be a sniper.
Yes.
But they spend like four pages on him just talking about how he got his name, and then you know he's there just doing what he's doing, and he doesn't really come up again. So it's that care that goes into those characters.
Yeah.
You know, the time spent. It doesn't matter how big or small the characters were. Everyone was really well rounded and well defined. It's done it.
Yeah,
again.
you appreciated the presence. I didn't hear it. I think it blanks out on my end when it happens, but everyone else might hear it. Thank you, Omega Bread. Thanks for listening to Comic Shenanigans. I hope I didn't blabber on too much and was a bore, but thanks for listening. Yeah, I love being able to talk comics with my pals. It's always a blast. And it's funny, I listened to Comic Shenanigans as a fan, and then I just messaged Adam because we were from the same city. I took a chance, and then we became friends. Very cool. Nice guy. Always brings me to the baseball game every year. Are we ready to
I am now ready. Yeah. Sorry, I'd normally chuckle at the last message to myself in my to-do list.
What's the... Okay.
I can tell
share
you.
it or no?
Yeah. It's because it goes like the second half is like what to do before you come on, and there's a list of what to do after you come on. And after you come on, I line up the frames, move the mic. Hang on, move the mic. Move the mic. Sound check, banner, coffee and blackcurrant, and then be happy in bold. Because sometimes I catch myself when I'm doing the edit, and I'm just going, yeah, that was good. You know, like, cheer up, mate.
No, you don't realize. Yeah, you don't realize the resting face sometimes you have that you don't realize when you're on camera. You should look a little bit friendly. But
yeah,
hey, we're human.
So I used to do voiceovers in my last job, which is something I'm looking into doing again. And I'm actually going to be a tin of baked beans in something.
I don't know who that is, but I'd love to do voiceover work. Or read. I would love to read novels, like audiobooks.
I pressed something that I shouldn't have pressed. Oh shit. Right, hi. Yeah, that could be fun actually. That'd be fun. I'd like to do that as well. But yeah, when I do voiceovers for our news thing, I'd have to go because it was like upbeat news. So you hear yourself talk and you go like, and you do it in quite a happy voice, and you play it back, and I'm going, yeah, so that happened. That was great, wasn't it? Yeah, you have to really like overdo it to sound upbeat. It's really weird. So I used to have to position the mic really high and then kind of go down low with my legs and then do it like up towards it and go like, we did this thing, and it's like it seems ridiculous. You play it back and I just sound normal.
So
I sound like a normal,
it's an art,
happy
right?
person.
There's an art to voice acting.
Yeah,
it's a real thing. Yeah, you don't think it is, but it really is. That's a great job. I'd love that. That's so cool.
I've auditioned to be a mayor in a kids' cartoon as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you get it.
Thank you.
That'd be so
I don't know
cool.
what the odds are. I could have gone for multiple characters, and I just went for the one just to see what would happen.
See what happens. Go for multiple next time.
Yeah, go for all of them. I'll beat the entire cast.
You could use your Eric Anthony voice as one of those characters.
Weirdly,
playing an American...
someone did do. So a lot of the auditions were on Instagram, so you could share them that way. So I was seeing what some people were doing after I'd done it. I did something completely different to what everyone else had done, which is either great or the wrong move. So, but someone did this thing that was like, oh my God, he's Eric Anstey.
Ah! Yeah, voice actor, Mayor Humdinger. Okay.
Who's Mayor Humdinger?
Shall we begin our second half? I'm so excited. Second half of the top 20.
Damn right we should.
Yeah, all right, let's do it.
So before we do,
Yeah.
Bread, who's Mayor Humdinger? That is really familiar and I can't think who it is. Is that from a British telly thing? Telly, because we call it telly here. No one really calls it telly anymore. Paw Patrol. Oh, yeah. Oh, fucking hate Paw Patrol. I really hate Paw Patrol. I thought it was about a destitute troll for a while, and then I realised when I saw the visuals. That pinging is a problem, and I don't know how to turn it off. Oh, shit. I just pressed something I shouldn't.
Marvel Man, hey.
Oh,
Just in
no.
time. We haven't dropped the boom yet.
Hang on, let
So
me
it's
move
about
you.
to go down. Okay.
I've just got to move you. Sorry, one sec, dude.
Okay.
Trying to get rid of this frickin' beat, and it... Is that moving you?
No, I'm moving.
You're moving. Shit, you bastard. You're not moving. Oh, there you are. That was so... Oh, no! Get off. Right. Sorry. So cack-handed of me. Could you do me one favour and just sit up momentarily? Is that as straight as you often sit? You normally do kind of... No, you're right.
I usually lean in.
You do normally lean in, don't you? Let's do
that
that.
posture.
Oh. I look like Shaggy when I walk down the street. Really bad posture. Fuck me, I look tired.
Hopefully my eye isn't like it was before.
No, it's fine.
Okay, good. Shall we begin? Get the show on the road? Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and hanging out with us. This is going to be fun. BC, are you ready? We're going to drop it. 4, 3, 2, 1, and... Welcome back, everybody, to the Omniverse Comics Guide podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Eric Anthony. That's my pal. Hello.
Oh, hello. I'm David Molyneux.
There he is. That's my pal, David Molyneux. Everybody, you are tuned in to the Omniverse Comics Guide podcast. As we said, it's our top 20 of 2024, part 2. Probably our favorite episodes to do every year. We look forward to just our being able to be completely biased and talk about your absolute favorite stuff. What's better than that? Everybody who's tuned in live on Twitch, thank you for joining us. We appreciate everyone who does that and also helps us out on the chats when we get our facts wrong. They fact check us on the spot, giving us the community notes, if you will. We appreciate that. Yeah. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube and enjoying Dave's beautifully edited videos with all of the pizzazz and flash and stuff that makes this a great show to watch. Thank you. Hit that subscribe button. Dave, tell...
I was going to say, every time you do that and you say, he adds all these things, I normally just chuck in the worst possible special effects just to kind of counter it so there's no expectation.
Oh, no, you do more than a great job on the YouTube. And everyone listening on the different podcast platforms, maybe you're at work, like I listen to podcasts at work, hit that rate and subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, or a critique. We appreciate it. All of it helps. Thank you for engaging with us and watching the show. Dave.
Yes.
How the heck are you, buddy?
I am heck.
You are heck.
Yeah. Heck
well,
raiser.
The heck.
Yeah, man. Not bad. Are you?
I'm okay. You know what? It's way too cold right now for me. I'm not a fan of it at all.
I don't blame
People
you.
would think you get used to it living in, northern climate. No, not so much. I prefer warm weather, just like everybody else usually. But either way, I'm trying to stay happy.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah. We got a comic book podcast every week to hang out together.
We do.
What's not to be happy about?
Exactly. Good.
Right?
I like your perspective.
Last week, I had a very, very cool mailbag to share.
You did.
I don't have one. I don't have one this week. Do you got anything?
I do, actually. I have. I literally before we started, I
Yeah.
cut the box
That-
open. It's still in the box, and I haven't looked inside.
Okay, all right. Let's do it together. I
So-
hope it's definitely comic related. It's not going to be anything naughty that we can't show. On
Oh
the
no,
show.
it's they're lucky the batteries weren't in. No, just kidding. So this is from. There's a lot of packaging in here. It's from Gunganir Books.
Oh wow, very
And
cool.
yeah, whoa, this is cool, man. So, these are lovely. They're all sealed, so I may not open them out all the way on here, but like, look at that.
What's that?
It's
What is
Gunganir
this?
Tales from the Allfather, stories for the next generation of dreamers and thinkers.
That looks very cool.
It does.
Who sent it? Gunganir Books.
Gunganir, Gunganir. There are two. I'll put one in the post for you.
Thanks, buddy.
That's all right. I shouldn't get all the luck. And another book of theirs called Forward as Always, which is it looks like a novel. It's a novel. No pictures.
That's okay. I like those too.
We'll take those. So
Yeah.
I'll put it in the post. I can't. I need words. I need pictures. Or I can't read. I'm dyslexic, man.
I need the pictures too. But
I am going to give
love
this a
bugs.
try, actually. So thank you, Gunganir Books. This is lovely, man. This is really, really
That's
nice
great.
stuff. I'll take a little look and I'll do some videos about what's in them a bit later. But that was really nice. But they turned up as well, and I said I wasn't expecting anything. And they went, "Oh, it's for Omniverse Comics Guide." And I was like, "Oh, they did say they were going to send me some stuff."
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Thank
What a great
you.
surprise.
Really nice stuff, man. So yeah,
Very nice.
So that's Gunganir Books, everybody.
Gunganir Books.
Yeah,
That and what you described on the cover, I'm just like, open it up.
That
I want to
sounds
see it.
cool.
What's it all about? What is it?
I might.
Sounds so cool.
When we do the ad break, I might really quickly strip one
Yeah.
open and flash it. That sounds wrong.
Of course it does.
Of course it does. It came from my mouth, which sounds wrong.
Okay. Getting back into our top 20. Where did we finish out? What was our last picks?
You
I
tested
don't
me
remember.
now.
No,
So-
you know what? No, I've got a list. My last pick was Loving Ohio. I
That's
remember
right.
That. That's how I finished off last week.
Mine was 1949.
Right.
If you do want to see what our picks were, sorry, I have really my Irish genetics.
Your hair
are
looks wonderful.
impacting
You
my
got a
hair.
great flow. You got a great flow.
If you do want to see what made the first 10 spots in our top 20 books of the year, hop
That's
on
right.
the old YouTube or your favorite podcast channel, or go on our website and you can take your pick of what platform you want to watch it on. And you can watch either the whole cut unedited, or you can watch the edited version with all the graphics and stuff, and you can see which 10 books we chose. But today is our top 10. These are our 10 favorites.
Yes, this makes so. I don't know why. I don't know if it's I'm a little out of practice in the new year, but I didn't mention the fact that everybody should go to the omniversecomics.guide.
What's up, mate?
Most importantly,
What's that?
because
Is that a website?
it's where you get all of our podcasts, all of our archives, our interviews, collector item specials, our reading orders that Dave so lovingly puts together, labor of love, but they're second to none. If you want to look for comic book reading orders, if he's done it, it's probably the best you're going to find. Omniversecomics.guide. Check us out. And like Dave said, last week's episode, part 1 of our top 20 2024 is there.
Yeah.
So yes, good shout, Dave. Thank you for reminding me.
No worries.
Silly.
You shouldn't have to do all the heavy lifting, dude. Come on.
No, you do. You okay?
I'm supposed to be a co-host. I just sit back and let you do all the talking.
No. Check out that website because that's where it's all at for real. Do I go first? You go first. How are we doing?
This is your year to go first. So you started us
yeah.
last week. You can start us this week, my
You
dude.
just want the last pick.
This
know
year
you're
I want the last pick, and then next year you can have the last pick.
No, I want you to have the last pick. All right. Like I said, I love the fact that we got an opportunity to be completely biased. And every week we
yeah.
are, right? We're picking our 5. But in this case, it's like we want to recommend stuff that we hope the listeners and viewers will enjoy, but also it gives us an opportunity to shout out some of our friends. So my top 5, my first pick
Yeah.
was a guest on the show, longtime friend of mine. You can check out his episode that we put up, I think it was in the summertime.
Yeah.
And it's the author of Undergrowth. I'm talking about
Nice.
Ricky Lima. And I got to give proper credit to Daniele Aquilani,
Okay.
Italy. They are the creators of Undergrowth, a Top Shelf production, published by Top Shelf Production. And the reason why, Dave, you made a good point last week, is that this is our collected editions of what came out in the year. So it can span stuff that was 40 years old or came out last year. And what I really like about this book is that as a collected edition, I remember when Ricky was putting out the first issue of Undergrowth as a Kickstarter, and we were talking about it. Like we went and podcasted in the city. We went to like a little restaurant. You can hear forks and knives clanking as we talked about this book he was trying to put together and funded, crowdfunded. And now you see, years later, all of the issues are there.
Yeah.
The labor of love that he had for this book to get it out there. And he's also he works for a publishing company, so he's into book design. And I'm so happy that the book design that they came up with for him for this collection of his book is lovely. They really did it justice. Over 300 page count that you're going to get with this.
Who was the publisher? Did you say was it Top Shelf?
Top Shelf.
Yeah.
Top Shelf Comics. It's a very heartfelt story. It's, I think, an all ages book would be appropriate, but it's got some lighthearted action, heavy on the action, but also some deep themes that I think upon a second read, you kind of feel the story even more so. Like it comes all together, like on that says like, I see, everything feels good about it. It's a nice feel good feeling, even though it's got very heavy themes. So I'm not going to read the entire plot about it because you can listen to our episode with Ricky where he goes into the whole thing. But I think you would appreciate a quote on the back from a fellow creator. Wild, weird, and strangely heart-wrenching, Undergrowth is a lot of fun, a tale of terror and obsession told with great empathy and off-the-charts excellent mech violence. And that's from Xander Cannon.
Xander Cannon!
Kaiju Max, right? Again, you could check out Xander Cannon on a collector's item special with Dave, who we've often spoken about, or he's often spoken about how wonderful Kaiju Max is. So for him to, give the praise for that book says a lot about how Ricky executed the vision. So check out Undergrowth, Top Shelf, Ricky Lima, Daniele Aquilani. Number 5 for me.
Lovely. Really, really nice. I'm glad that you really loved that book, because hearing him talk about it, he's such a sweet guy. He's really funny.
So sweet.
Yeah.
Yes. So sweet. And it's been really cool, like for him to be a local guy, and he's been, comic creator, and I've been on the podcasting end, and we're kind of like, okay, I'll be on your podcast and I'll talk about your comic, and like this back and forth thing. So for him to be getting his stuff published and getting, critical acclaim, I'm so happy for him. So I wanted to give him a proper shout.
Oh, lovely.
Yes. Thank you.
I do really want to get that book, actually, because I haven't got it myself yet. So I will pick it up. Incidentally, a quick thank you to Scrubs in the chat, who's just reminded me to mention the Omniverse Discord.
It is a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun, man.
It is a great group of friends who get on there and just chat about comics, recommend stuff. It's great.
Yeah, it's
I like
nice
checking
as well
on it.
Yeah, it's fun, right? And what I like about it as well is not always responding to it, because like when you run the social media platforms, as you do on Instagram, you got to feed it all the time. It's nice to just kind of go away and leave it and come back and go, what's happening? And then everyone's having a little chinwag in there, and it's sweet. Yes,
it's very nice.
Oh, Undergrowth, is it a volume 1 or a complete collection?
It's a complete collection. Good question. So it's a one and done story. It's 8 issues. But I know that the later issues, when he was putting them out in single form, he made them like 48 pages.
Oh.
So it's a little extra page count.
Yeah, I thought it was chunkier than an 8 issuer.
Yeah. So you get your money's worth as far as page count is concerned, and even book design. Like I said, it's a well put together collection of the whole story.
Yeah, Top Shelf did a nice job. And color,
originally, it was in black and white.
Oh, right.
So yeah, it's all colored and it's beautiful.
Cool.
Yes.
What a way to start, dude. I'm going to carry us on with my number 5 then. No pressure. What I like about doing these episodes as well is they're the opposite of an incoming. in a way. Unless we've read
Yeah.
the stuff that we know is going to be collected, sometimes we're just taking chances on it and we're announcing something's out. And it wasn't long ago that we mentioned in incoming that this book was coming out, which is Junkyard Joe, the deluxe edition. And it's a big, beautiful library edition size book. It collects issues 1 to 6 of Junkyard Joe from Ghost Machine / Image Comics. It's by Jeff Johns, Gary Frank, and also Brands and Rob Lee. But this, to me, trumps Geiger considerably. Now, I liked Geiger, don't get me wrong, but what I like about this the most is that it reminds me of 80s films. So even though like the look of the character reminds me of G.I. Robot, as I mentioned, it's not really like G.I. Robot. It's a different thing. But there may have been some influence in there, but I don't know. But it feels like an 80s film. It's got the family that move in next door, and there's like the old guy in the house next door, and then he turns out this robot was part of his life, and it feels like one of those classic 80s films. It's got all the tropes, but not in a cheeseball way. The art, of course, is fantastic because it's Gary Frank, who is just one of the absolute greats of all time. It's so funny to kind of think back to when I used to pick up Motormouth and Kill Power back in the day with Gary Frank in it when he was still a noob. And now look at him, he's like superstar artist, working with Jeff Johns all the time. This is a lot of fun as a book. It's a lot of fun. It's great to have a robot character. I love robots. I've got a thing about robots, obviously, thanks Transformers. But I've got a huge thing about robots, and I love anything that's got that element in there. It's always been a bit of an obsession of mine. But it's got this great level of intrigue, and you know, the bad guys are out to get what's the deal, what's the mystery here, and it's all building up, and you're starting to find out what's actually been going on. And I'm glad it wasn't spoiled, considering the series came out 2 years ago, I think, in single issues.
I think so. Yeah.
I think it was.
I read it. I read that last year, and just the trade came out last year.
Yeah. So I think it's been around for a little bit, but luckily it wasn't spoiled. Just loved it. Just absolutely loved it. And I'm not saying it because Jeff was on the show or anything like that, because that's not how we do things.
I was going to say that myself.
Really loved it. Yeah. So if you do want to find out a bit more about the shared universe that Junkyard Joe is part of, Jeff talks about the unnamed universe, which is just a part of Ghost Machine, because the shared universe stuff is Junkyard Joe, it's Redcoat with him and Jeff and Brian Hitch and Geiger, and there are more books to come, and there's a hint of what's to come at the end, towards the end of the story, but I don't want to say too much.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun. Like it may sound very biased coming from us to constantly be shouting it out, but it's sincere. Like I'm not saying these are really good comics, and if you're gonna spend your money on expensive books, you might as well get your money's worth.
Well, yeah, and these are good value. They're a good price, I think, for what I thought it was going to be a little hardcover, and it was.
Yeah, just like the Geiger deluxe. Like you get a nice quality product. Whether you're getting the single issue, the trade, or now these deluxe editions, they're nice books that give you good content, and they're very fan friendly. They got all of the creators there. Like we've talked about this ad nauseum, but all the creators there have had very successful careers for the big two. Now they're getting to like do what they want.
Yeah,
they know how to do good stories. So I don't think they're gonna put out with their own funding something that they can't stand behind, knowing what fans like.
Yeah, no, completely.
And there's something for everybody. There really is.
It does feel that way. But I think what's been good about it is I like seeing a universe starting up. And there are little hints in this that relate to Redcoat. And where I read Redcoat before this, whereas a lot of people would have done it the other way around if they were reading singles or buying the trade paperbacks, there were some hints. It's all connected. And
that's why the fan. I don't want to make a comparison to be I don't even know, negative, but like the same way with Valiant, where you it's connected, but not in a way where you feel I have to go read this first.
Just
read what you want. Read and if you like it, you'll probably want to check that out because it's good.
You'll be rewarded.
Exactly. Nice pick.
Thank
I'm happy you put. I wasn't expecting it, but great pick.
Oh really?
Sticky. Yeah. Sticking with Image Comics.
Uh-huh.
And what I like so far of a lot of our picks, I think from last episode as well, is there's some of the stuff that were in our incoming episodes.
Yeah.
So stuff we picked out, we actually did read it.
Uh-huh.
So that's good. And this is another one. This is another one. Something Epic. I
Ah.
mentioned it that I wanted to pick it up. I think I put it twice on the
You
incoming,
did.
and it's because the first volume,
Mm-hmm.
again, good value for your dollar. You get 7 issues in the first volume, and it's a beautiful book. Like
That's thick
Simon,
as well.
I don't know how to properly pronounce the
I
name.
think it
I
is
apologize
Simon, isn't it?
because it's SZY. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna say Simon Krasinski.
Cool.
Krasinski? Krasinski.
Don't ask me.
Simon
You know I
Krasinski.
always balls it
Hey,
out.
this book has gotten very good reviews, deservedly so. I am going to read the back of it just so people, I don't want to butcher it. It's been a
Okay.
while since I read it,
Yeah,
but
no, go for it.
imagination is real. Outside our perception, creative thought takes physical form with only a handful of individuals known as epics able to interact with this wondrous hidden world. But for 14-year-old Danny Dillon, accepting these responsibilities himself won't be easy or safe. Lose yourself in a world of endless fantasy and creativity where superheroes, monsters, magical creatures, and cartoon characters live and breathe alongside us. So, Volume 1 follows Danny Dillon. I haven't read Volume 2 as of yet. I think so far the series goes up to issue 12 and it's taking a pause. I don't know if it's
Oh.
going to continue or if it's concluded, but I think the second volume follows another epic
Oh, I
in
see.
their journey.
Okay.
And what's cool about it is like those who've listened to the show or have heard me interview like J.M. DeMatteis or stuff like that, and we get into like the metaphysics of storytelling.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of this is about, is the realness of your imagination
Uh-huh.
can have physical effects, and things that people have come up with, the things we can't explain that happen around us are actually the living imaginations doing that thing,
Okay.
if that makes sense. But normal people can't see it. However, epics can see like, oh, 2 superheroes are fighting over there, and that's why that tree fell
Right.
and fell onto the car, right?
Uh-huh.
So that's kind of the premise of the story of who it's following, the world that they live in, and how they interact with it, because they're able to almost interact with the imagination
Yeah.
as a tangible thing. It's really, really well done. I don't want to give too much of it away. I don't know if I could at this point, but I highly recommend it.
I think that
Something
as a
epic.
concept is enough, really, isn't it?
Yeah, because it includes, like it says, monsters, magical creatures, cartoon characters, superheroes. So all of those things that we kind of grew up around and people created, well, in the imagination realm that we can't really see, some of us could. And what's actually happening behind the curtain, as it were. Check it out. It's a fun book. I'm looking forward to it being completely collected in a nice deluxe edition at some point. But so far, the 2 trades that came out in 2024, well put together, good value for your dollar.
Wow.
Simon Krasinski, Something Epic.
This is a good shout. Actually, Omega Bread just said Eric is swinging his big hidden gems balls tonight. Some great left field picks so far.
I got more. Yeah,
Nice.
I'm going to give away the complete
He's got
hidden,
more balls, just showing off, isn't he? He's just, come on.
to show off the hidden gems. Yeah, my whole hidden gems episode is getting shown to the world. I love those episodes, anyways.
We should do one of those
yeah,
this year.
it's fun. It's a lot of fun to just responding to Marvel Man and Yansum. Sounds awesome. I liked it, and the art. I mean, Dave, I'll let you throw up a piece of the artwork if you can find one. I don't want to just show the book and it won't do it justice.
Yeah.
To be fair, yeah, it deserves a good, clear shot of the artwork. It's great stuff.
All right.
Simon
I'll find
Krasinski,
something good.
Something Epic. All right.
Lovely stuff. Oh, right. So let's keep those balls swinging with another bit of non-big 2. And this, I'll be honest, and this is no detriment to the book, really. The competition was just high. I thought this was going to be my number 1 this year because I love book 1 so much. But it's number 4. Still great. This is Manifest Destiny, Deluxe Edition, book 2. This is, look, that's a chunker. That's what you call a chunker, isn't it? I mean, it's 560 pages, oversized hardcover, came out in December, so I had to read it pretty quickly just to get it on this episode. It collects issues 25 to 48 of Manifest Destiny as by Chris Dingus and Matthew Roberts. There's also a really random story from Skybound X #1, because it's a Skybound, it's Image Skybound, or Skybound Image, depends how you like to swing it. But yeah, it's a very random story that if you don't read it, you're fine. It doesn't impact the rest of it. It's really weird. But the only thing I'll say just about Skybound, and this was a very popular comment, a popular topic rather, in the Discord, and it was about the way Skybound don't include covers as chapter separators.
Yeah, what do you think of that?
It's really annoying. I hate it. The problem is it impacts a really important moment in the story really, really badly, because they almost do a recap moment. So it ends in a certain way, one issue. It's between issues, I made a note, it was 35, 36, right? So the end of issue 35, a pretty major thing happens. And then issue 36, they take a step back in time a little bit to show you it happening essentially from another angle. But I was confused as to what was going on, because I didn't know it was an issue shift. I was just reading this page after page. So they kind of chapterize it in terms of how the trades came out, but not how the single issues came out. And that really threw me, and it disrupted the reading experience. So Kirkman sorted it out, mate. Yeah?
Yeah, he did this. He did the same thing with the Firepower,
Yeah.
and I wasn't too.
No,
I'm like,
I didn't like that either.
Yeah.
They need to just do it. It's part of the experience. Even if we're not buying single issues, it'd be nice to have the covers so you know. It just makes sense sometimes.
yeah, like it. Look, I'm not anti single issue just because I don't buy them anymore.
No, it's more affordable
I
way
appreciate-
of buying.
I appreciate the single issue whole experience because I grew up with that. So if it came out as single issue, like you said, put the goddamn cover.
Yeah.
Because we do appreciate the artist, we do appreciate the story. Like we still appreciate that part of it
Yeah.
as the experience, right? And if the whole book is meant to be read like this, then proceed,
Yeah.
right? You won't have, like you said, that there's a certain way of telling a monthly story that's
Yes.
collected issue per issue that when you turn that page, even as a reader,
You're
like
gonna
when I
get
was
a
reading,
cliffhanger.
when I was reading Firepower, which we brought up last week,
Yeah.
but again, I'm going to kind of critique it. It's like, I don't know the break here. I'm missing something there. And I think maybe that also affected my experience. It's funny you bring that up.
Yeah.
I put the cover in there, please.
They should put the covers in. It does make it better. On the positive side, this book is fantastic. Like it's about it's based on the actual events of 1804 with Captain Meriwether Lewis and Captain William Clark exploring the American frontier, but it's done with an element of fantasy with these strange arches, and from the arches these creatures come out. And every area they go in, it's a different threat. So in the previous book, it was kind of Minotaur Centaur creatures where they'd have like the body of a bull, like the legs of a bull, and then a human torso, and then a bull head and human arms. And there was this other thing where it was like a bird thing, or there's a fungal infection that almost zombifies people. You know, it's like it's constant threats, and characters are being killed off left, right, and center, and you literally don't know who's safe. But while those two people were real people, I don't think that's what happened when they went out there. But hey, maybe it did. Maybe this is what happened. It's funny. It's dark. It's fun. It's nasty. It's everything I like in a comic, most of all. So Manifest Destiny, it was out for a while. I think it's in like 8 trades or 9 trades or something like that. Maybe 8. And it's one of those things where you're going, that's a long-running Image series, because most things don't go on that long with Image, you know, unless it's the old school like Spawn and things like that have gone on for a long time. But I was kind of thinking there's got to be something in it. And then when they released it as deluxe editions, I thought, I need to get this. Something's telling me this is a good series. Like, there's some greatness in here. And it is fantastic. The only reason it didn't top the chart, like I thought it was the competition was high, man. Really high. And there was, I think, that little reading experience with the lack of covers through me, and it would have been. It wasn't just that, just a couple of bits like, this is really, really great. This is like a 5-star book. I loved it. But there's some other stuff out that was just that bit better.
I can't wait. We're getting into our top threes.
We are.
Here we go. Okay. This is my number 3.
Yeah.
And then we get the commercial break.
Uh-huh.
All right. Here we go. Sticking with Image. This was another one of my incoming, I think, early first half of the year for sure. And it is from Kyle Higgins. It is an anthology collection with a variety of artists, and it's called Deep Cuts. Definitely could be in one of those special episodes in the future. It's, like I said, an anthology that is a celebration of jazz music in America at different times. So you travel, and it's not direct continuations of each other, but there's certain things that tie it together.
Okay.
So if this was, for instance, a mini-series, could easily be a mini-series that does some very nice tips of the hat to show the continuity that it exists altogether, but it's not like you have to read this issue to understand that issue. That's not the case. But in this nice collection, again, nice thick trade from Image. Yeah, it's not it's 6 issues, but again, more content than normal that you would get in a 6-issue series. Are usually like 120 pages. This is, I think, in the 200s or so. Like, again, your money's worth of very different style of art throughout it. I don't want to, again, not do it justice, but some of the artists featured on here are Ramon Perez, Diego Greco, some people I've never heard of, to be honest. Helena Marcellus, Junie Ba, Joe Clark, I think may have been a co-writer with Kyle Higgins. But a very, very good, very lovely ode to jazz music and the history of it and the storytelling that goes around the writing of a song or the culture that was surrounding a certain traveling band or an artist that, what was their story of how they became that saxophonist or whatever the case may be. But really, really beautiful stuff. Highly recommended to comic book fans, right? This is not about superhero. That's the beautiful thing about comics, right? It can be about any genre, but also fans of music, fans of history. That I don't think it's. I tried to look up some of the artists to see if they were real people or like there were songs that were associated with it.
Yeah.
I don't think so, but I've become a bit more of a jazz fan as I've gotten older, collecting jazz records and whatnot. So it definitely appealed to me.
Was that whole for mixing?
Culture. No, not so much. Just me and my wife bought a turntable a couple of years ago, and one of the nice things to just be able to play as ambient music around the house was always jazz, right? And it just got us kind of more and more into the genre. So this, if you just are a fan of music, but if you do like jazz music and just good storytelling, check out Deep Cuts from Kyle Higgins and the variety of artists on it. Image Comics.
That kind of project is a real labor of love thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're going to do a book like that, it's going to be because there's a true affection in there.
Exactly. I think, and Kyle Higgins is famous for writing pretty celebrated superhero stories. Now, people are really critically giving praise to Radiant Black and his massive verse that he's got going on,
and his Power Rangers, I think.
Yes, exactly. So this is a guy who I guess wanted. The way this book felt was something that he wanted to do as a passion project.
Yeah. And
it definitely feels like that, and I think he did it justice.
Cool.
So, check out Deep Cuts. Yeah, very, very cool book. My wife read it as well. She was a big fan of it.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. I would love to get her to talk about it on a podcast.
You should do that. You should do it.
Yeah, it would be fun.
Yeah.
So my number 3, Deep Cuts.
Pardon me. Deep gas.
Commercial break time?
Yeah, so when, like last week, we're not going to do New to the Omniverse, we're doing Best of the Omniverse, and this week we're looking at the 10 most popular new reading orders that were added to the site in 2024.
Nice.
So, at number 10, it's the Valiant Universe Reading Order 2012 to 2014. Just trumped ROM. Fuck you, ROM. Number 9, Wonder Woman, the New 52 era, 2011-2016. Number 8, Zenith, the 2000 AD series from the 80s, but also has some spin-off stuff and other related things. Are you right there?
No, I'm just my wife was opening the door, so I'm like just checking to see what was happening. Everything's good.
There's other related stuff in there for Zenith. So I had people going like, why is there a Zenith reading order? You just start there and you finish there. And it's like, well, there is other stuff, actually. At number 7, it's Beast World, the DC event that came out, the start of 2024? Number 6, Doctor Doom. The first of our Doctor Doom reading orders from 1963 to 81. That's 20 years of Doom comics in order. Number 5, DC versus Marvel, stroke the Amalgam Age of Comics. So that was the 4-issue mini, all the spin-offs that came from it, and the lead-in. Not many people realise there's a story that leads in to DC versus Marvel. Number 4, Marvel versus DC Comics, which is all the Marvel and DC stuff, all in a kind of chronological order. Number 3, the Infinity Gauntlet, which I actually did at the very end of last year, so I'm giving it a chance. But it's been incredibly popular, and it's broken down properly, so you see where the story breaks come in, where issues overlap. So if you just want to read through and see, like, oh, that's how it all went together, done it for you. Number 2, just knocked off Transformers reading order, the Marvel years, incredibly popular. But hey, Transformers, it's a big year for Transformers this year. It's 40th anniversary.
Yeah.
And at number 1, the Ultimate Universe reading order 2000 to 2005. So that's part 1 of 3. There are going to be 3 of those to cover the original Ultimate Universe. So part 2 I am working up, which just takes a bit of time, and will be out soon.
Nice.
So thank you to everyone who's hopped on the site and used the reading orders. We had someone point out a mistake where I'd listed one issue twice somehow by accident. Feel free, let us know. I want these to be really accurate, and I hope they really help people. I'm so anal. I hope they help people find their way through, because you can just keep it basic and just read the reading order, let you know what issues to read, what to skip, or you can use it as almost like a wiki page and do the story breakdown. But in, like most wiki pages, it does a little link to like this happened there, or it sort of happened. This tells you what order.
Dave, I don't think AI could make a better reading order than you.
Fuck you, AI.
Yeah, I don't think because you would want to prove it wrong. That's how good the reading orders are. Ooh, honestly.
Thank you, dude.
I mean it, man. Anything else from the?
No, do you want more?
No, you could keep sipping. You don't got. No, anything else before we continue with the countdown? That's all.
No.
All right. You're number 3.
I am number 3.
All right.
So my number 3, I read on the DC Infinite app. So technically, it wasn't a real solid item.
You like it soft?
I like
digital.
it. Yeah, I like it digi sometimes. Yeah, I like it smooth. So this one was on the DC Infinite app. The book was released this year. It came out in August. It was a real surprise for me. And bear in mind, I thought Manifest Destiny would win. This just came in out of left field. So while it's from DC Comics, it's Birds of Prey Volume 1, Megadeth. It's by Kelly Thompson. The art's by Leonardo Romero, with another issue. It's done by... I've written his name wrong. Give me 1 second. I wrote his name and it auto-corrected it. And I don't want to say his name wrong. One issue is done by Aris Dane, I think you pronounce it as. Apologies if I butcherfied your name, Sir Stroke Bomb. Oh God, this is making it worse. So what I love most about this Birds of Prey series is the lineup. Now, while it seems they have to shoehorn Harley Quinn into this thing now from now on, probably because of the film and probably because she's pretty popular, they do make it work. So there is a logical reason for her being there, and they're very selective about the team they're choosing. So you've got Black Canary, who's like an instant win for me, and she's assembling this team that consists of Big Barda, like, hello. Thank you. Two of my favourite characters in one series. Hello. Then, of course, Harley Quinn. You've got Cassandra Cain, Batgirl. And you've got Zealot
Nice.
from Wildcats. What a
Wow.
random selection.
Zealot. That wasn't that the character that had like
The white hair.
Right.
And the red
Yes,
costume and the
yes,
white hair,
yes,
yeah.
yes, yes. She was like the Lady Shiva.
Yeah,
She was like a lady. Yes,
pretty much.
kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool lineup.
Yeah, really cool lineup. And then their mission is to rescue Black Canary's sister from Themyscira. And they know that going there to do this thing is going to cause major problems. And the one thing they really don't want to do is piss Wonder Woman off. So they have to try and
haven't read
sneak
modern
in.
DC in a while, but I'm
Dude,
about to.
there's some great books. There are some great books coming out from DC at the minute. And like, I'm
That
so
sounds
hyped for the new
awesome.
stuff. Yeah, it's brilliant. Kelly Thompson's getting a lot of praise at the minute, and having read this book, I can see why. But this is so much fun, and I was literally shouting this thing out to people who don't read comics. Just go like, please give this a shot. I know you won't, but it's great. And like, we also, I don't want to spoil this, but I am going to mention that if you, this does spoil it a little bit, but block your ears for 5 seconds if you don't want to spoil it. If you ever want to see Wonder Woman take on Big Barda in a fight, all right, this is the book to see it in.
Damn. Who's the artist?
So the primary artist, there's one issue with a guest artist. I'm not going to butcher his name again, but it's Leonardo Romero, who's the artist, and his art style is fantastic. There's something that's been done as well in terms of the colouring. So the colouring is by Jordi Belair, and there's a style that's been used that just elevates the whole thing, and it feels kind of like an indie book because it feels like it's been printed with the colour slightly offset sometimes. It's just so cool. It's so cool. It's like an incredibly cool series. It has no right to be this cool.
That sounds. Yeah, you know, Birds of Prey. I want to read the celebrated stuff that came.
Omega Bread. I'm debating reading that comment out.
Yeah, you know what? It distracted me a couple times. Yeah. Yeah, he got me a couple times. I think. Anyways, the book sounds really cool. Birds of Prey is a celebrated team, and that lineup sounds awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's
really cool.
really awesome. So
Nice. I like that.
I can't recommend it highly enough. It's issues 1 to 6, 160 page paperback, or obviously you can get it in digital. By all means, jump on the DC Infinite app. I live on the DC Infinite app now. I read a lot on the Infinite app. I know
Sounds
not
very,
everyone's
very
into
tempting.
digital, but like they're really
comes
filling
through.
out the gaps now, because there were quite a few gaps in there for a bit, and it's really coming together.
It comes in clutch, and you know, it could also be a good.
What? Can you say that on a live broadcast?
What did I say?
Comes in clutch.
You can't say. What's wrong with clutch?
Isn't that sorry, maybe that just means something over here. Does it mean anyway? Nothing. Carry on.
Oh, here, what it means when you're clutch, it's like you come through at the last minute.
Oh, okay.
It's like it's one of those things that comes through for you. So, the DC Infinite app or even the Marvel app, whatever app offers you comics to read for a subscription, it's a good sampler if before you want to, let's say, buy an entire series or hardcover collection of something. You could see if you even like it.
Yes, exactly.
Because it's like a streaming service, you can test what you want and then kind of curate what you want to put on your shelf. So I prefer, the hard copy tangible, but the digital stuff does come through for you.
It does.
You need it to.
And actually saying that, if they ever release this depending on how long this series runs for, it might come out as a deluxe, it might come out as an omnibus, whatever it comes out as later on, and it will, because this is a real winner, I'll be getting it to put on the shelf. I want it on my shelf.
Nice.
It's great.
Very cool pick. I like it. Very, very nice. All right. My number 2 is going to complement your reading order.
Oh.
Some of the top picks of the reading order. So I was like, oh, how fitting. This might be on your top 2 list. I'm not sure if you still ordered it and it came through. But I got to say, it took a while for it to show up on my doorstep.
What is it?
But DC versus Marvel.
Ah.
The omnibus finally had arrived for fans. And The reason being, I mean, again, top collected editions. This is a piece of history
Yeah, it
for a
is.
comic book fan. It goes all the way back to the 70s, that first story of Spider-Man and Superman, and all of those treasury editions that become very, very expensive to get your hands on if you are a collector and you wanted to read those. But it's all here now. The one criticism I would have had about this book is I would have liked the Marvel vs. DC miniseries in it,
Yeah.
or Avengers versus Justice League
Yeah,
miniseries in it.
there's no sign of that being reprinted.
No, that's my only critique of it. However, all the other stuff that you get, it's kind of like a who's who of comic book creators generationally.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah, that's a good way of putting it, actually.
you got not only team ups between really cool characters, but also really cool creators working together on stuff that is kind of once in a lifetime. Is it the greatest groundbreaking stories you're ever going to read? No, because it's got to be. It's almost like Spider-Man has to punch Superman in the face as many times as Superman gets his licks in on Spider-Man in
I
the
didn't
fight.
realize it went that way. Woo!
I always watch
No wonder
myself
that book
doing
was
the thing.
popular.
But there was always that thing of showcasing both characters in a fair way and their villains in a fair
Yeah.
way. But with all that said, you got Jerry Conway and Ross Andrew, and you got Jim Shooter and John Buscema, and you got Walt Simonson with Chris Claremont
Yeah.
on telling stories together. It was a team up of the character as well as the people on
shout.
different, So
Yeah.
as a artifact of superheroes and comic books and DC and Marvel, this is a really, really cool book. I'm so happy it exists. I'm so happy I finally got all of those books that bit by bit you would collect as maybe a kid if you were
lucky.
at the store, if you're lucky, right?
Yeah.
I've read some of these. I remember the second the second Spider-Man Batman team up that was it was JMD who wrote it. I don't remember the artist, but
Was that not? Oh, no, I don't.
it was Mike Nolan. No,
Yeah, that sounds right. Oh, Graham Nolan. No, Graham Nolan? I don't know. I'd have to check.
I'll have to check.
I
I'm
think
sorry.
it's a
Apologize.
Nolan, I think.
Yeah, but I remember buying that. I was like 14 years old. Whatever money I had to be able to go to the store and buy a comic, I bought the one story that featured two characters in it that I liked.
Yeah.
That was how I picked it. Now, to have that piece of nostalgia there, it's really cool. And check it out if you can. It is a pricey book, but it might not be around for long.
We may never see that again.
That's the other thing. So
Yeah.
while it's available, and if you're able to, or you find it on a deal, add that to your collection if you're a long-time fan like we
Yeah.
are. Because again, like even just the Teen Titans and the X-Men story.
That was what swung it for me. I nearly didn't get it, and I thought I want that, and I want Superman and Spider-Man team up, and then it was like, well, damn it, I never read that Fantastic Four Superman one with Alex Ross's art in it. Like, screw it, I'm gonna have to get this damn book.
Yeah, it's a really cool book, and I gotta say, I'm not one of those people who appreciates the bonus features as much as some others do. But if you are a fan of like back content of the making of, this has a ton.
I didn't even look at the bonus stuff. I normally do. I used to do a video, but I didn't do one.
I mean, I'm gonna just the page count is about, like, you often mention how the page count is
Page
a
count's
little
normally
different.
higher, in print.
It's got intros to every book, like from the writer. There's an intro for every book that they had written in 91 and some more recent ones.
Right.
And then you've got almost like a trade's worth. I don't know if you could see the thickness of the pages that I'm
just
holding
slightly
here.
off. If you could, there we go.
Towards
Your face.
All of that.
That's a lot.
Content, it's like 120 pages worth, it feels like.
That's a lot of extra.
Yeah. So just for the history of it all, and the art, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez drawing Batman and the Hulk. Beautiful. Just really, really cool stuff.
Yeah.
So I love that it exists. I love that it came out after so many delays. And I remember it was one of the things we ranted about, or you did a beautiful rant of like, just make it Marvel, DC, what's the problem? Put it together. Make it
on a suggestion for Most Wanted
we
Omnis.
did like the Most Wanted Omnis. You had brought it up, and they made
I
it
made it
this
happen.
year. It's all because of you. Yeah, it's really because you said it. But yes, check it out. I don't know what more to say about how cool this book is.
There's one more bit to add, which Omega Bread just commented. JLA Avengers is coming. They're just holding it back to package it by itself and milk more money from the fans. That is a quote from the bread. Marvel and DC are working on something, a modern crossover, I think. I thought they were. I thought they would be. There's been a few subtle nods in the comics, most recently an issue of House of Brainiac crossover, which there is a reading order for on the Omniverse Comics Guide website, where Vril Docs mentions a battle in the future over a crisis gauntlet.
Thank you, Omega Bread, for being up to speed on what's happening in modern day comics.
Yeah, that is
and keeping us cool.
Funnily enough, when I read him talk about stuff that hadn't happened yet, I had to make loads of notes in case something came up, so I can interlink it when an event happens back to the other event. And yeah, when I saw Crisis Gauntlet, I thought, yeah, they are, because as soon as they announced these Omnis, I thought they're going to do another crossover, possibly a big event. So why not? I mean, I'd get it.
Yeah, I mean,
my money's already on the table for that.
It's the only thing left to really explore in a fresh way that's never been thoroughly done.
Yeah.
Where, like, let's really put these characters for a longer period of time. Let's say, imagine they did a whole year of crossover story between. But I mean, that would be your dream. But in the sense of
a lot of work.
In the sense of, like, you're really fleshing out, let's say, like, imagine Superman in Asgard.
Yeah.
They could, 6 issues.
Uh-huh.
Like, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Right?
They could easily do
shit
stuff like
that. You know,
I kind of hope they don't do more amalgam, but I think they might. That was what I thought when I read Crisis Gauntlet, that they might do more amalgam. But it could be fun. It might work. I really don't think it worked when they did it before, but I think it could work.
It could. You're right. It could. It'd be cool. Especially, like you said, putting it out there.
I think if they did it as a proper story instead of just a random issue and you're going, and that might be better.
Right. All right. Thank you for the info. Again, that's why we love doing the lives. Thanks, Brad. Dave?
Okay.
Keep it going.
My number 2 tonight is another left fielder for you, and it's Wild's End. It's available online on bookstores as book 1, but it is just this book. This is the book. This is the whole collection. And it's a chunker. Look at this bad boy.
Mm-hmm. I've almost bought that a few times. I don't know why I didn't.
Do it. Yeah. Make the jump. So it includes World's End numbers 1 to 6, World's End The Enemy Within 1 to 6, World's End Journey's End, which was volume 3, which actually would have been a 1 to 6, but it was just collected as a trade, I think. So it was 3 trades, and now it's all available in one. It's like, it isn't actually, but it's been likened to War of the Worlds meets Wind of the Willows, which I think I mentioned on an incoming episode when I said it was coming out and I really wanted it. Mm-hmm. But it isn't War of the Worlds, but there are similarities there. I'd normally have a bit of a freak out when it comes to anthropomorphic characters. So characters that have got like an animal head, it weirds me out normally, and I don't normally like it. Like someone recommended to read Black Sad. A number of people have said to me, you should read Black Sad. And I want to, but it's got a cat head. And I'm just like, why? Why? But this worked. And it's the most British thing I think you'll ever read. Because it's set in olden times. Not like ancient, something like 1940s or something like that. I think it's meant to be set in a little village where some... the villagers uncover an alien invasion, basically. And it's... I mentioned this before in last episode. I think it was in reference to... What was the book I did? There was a... I've mentioned it about Kaiju Max. Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. When you switch it out and you give it a cutesy element, when it gets real and kind of gritty, it's more shocking. So there are things that happen in this, and you just go, "What? What?" And I was sat in a pub reading this, like going, "No!" You know, like, who's the twat reading the book and shouting at it? So it's great, and it's got some fantastic characters. It's written by Dan Abnett, who most people will know from numerous Marvel titles, but especially the cosmic stuff like War of Kings. It's 480 pages. It's from Boom Studios. and I absolutely loved it. Shamelessly loved this read. It's just got this quaintness to it, and there's a quaintness in the language that is just so quintessentially British that it almost hurts. But it's just so nice, and there's something really kind of classically reassuring about it, and it feels like it's got this familiar because it's like it feels familiar because it's got those elements and those very British elements, and then the kind of War of the Worlds-esque parts to it, and so it feels very familiar. But the way that it pans out is really smart. So, you know, a lot of the War of the Worlds types, especially the older stories, of like the aliens come in and the humans get shoved down under the ground. And it doesn't work that way. It's like there is a certain modern logic to it, even though they've got, you know, animal heads.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Keep going.
No, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, next time I see it at the shop, I'm going to make sure that I grab a copy of it.
Treat yourself, dude.
Yeah.
Treat yourself. It's got this nice touch as well that they do, which is a lot like Watchmen, and you know that I don't like comparing anything to Watchmen if I like it, but it does this little extra bit at the end. You know, like they would do the pirate story stuff at the end or whatever. It does a bit of that in each thing, but they're written from the perspective of different characters. So it might be a diary, it might be a military report, it might be whatever it is, and you're going, why am I reading this military report about when people slept? But in that, it's telling you something about how the characters are dealing with what's going on. It's very, very smart. It's really cool. The art is by, oh God, I never get it right. Sorry. I wrote it down and now I can't see it. The art is by I.N.J. Culbard, who I'm not familiar with, but it's beautifully clean artwork, really nicely coloured. It's got an upbeat feel to it, even when it's down. It works. Something about this series works masterfully, and Dan Abnett and I.N.J. Culbard should be really proud of themselves, because it's just such an amazing book, and it's one of those ones that, you know, it's not going to necessarily be the biggest seller in the world, but it deserves to be because it's so good.
Dan Abnett, man.
Yeah, he's great.
Guys, really good.
Yeah,
really, and just that alone would make me interested in buying the book. Just
that
the name
part
recognition
of it for me as well.
He's really good, real consistent. Nice pick. Again, one of our incomings.
Yeah.
So, see, we stand behind what we recommend. Put our money where our mouth is.
Not everyone's a winner.
No, not every. No, that only. It's true. Number one.
Number one. It's your number one, man. What is it? I actually cannot guess. What do you want me to guess?
I want you to guess.
Is it from Image?
I want you to guess the title instead of a company.
I can't even think what company it
I
might
know.
be, just to narrow it down.
Okay.
I don't
it's not
know.
Image. It's not Image.
Is it a Marvel book? No, I don't know. I've got no clue.
Okay, and maybe someone in the chats might guess before I
It's
mention
been suggested
it, but that's
it's Do a Powerbomb.
Well, what do we have?
It's not a
here?
hidden gem. It didn't come out this year. It's Do a Powerbomb.
Just so happened to come. No, I don't know when the hardcover for it came out, but no, it's not to do with Powerbomb. This is a book that we talked about quite a bit throughout the year at different times, and if you did listen to the Comic Shenanigans episode, we talked about it there too, and that is the Superman,
it's the Triangle years.
Triangle era omnibus. Again, this is the book that I wanted my whole life. Kind of like the Marvel DC crossover, because this is the stuff from when I was a kid and I had, spare change to buy a book. It was from this era when I was learning to read and figuring out how a comic book works. And there's so many issues I have within this collection that I have the part one and I never know how it ends. I finally got to complete all those storylines that were just,
oh wow,
what happens next? And the stuff in here is pretty consequential as far as like Superman mythos goes across the board, because it's in between. This is right after, I think, the Exile stuff. Just a
not
little
immediately
around,
after.
not
There's
immediately.
like a few months. There's probably enough for 2 Omnis to sit between those.
Dave's, yeah, you're right, Dave. We talked about that as well.
Yeah.
So there is time between them, but it opens off. It kicks off with the Red Kryptonite story. Mr. Mixias Pidalek Lex Luthor. So original Lex Luthor, not the Lex Luthor the second with the long red hair, beautiful Australian guy who shows up. This is the original Lex Luthor who has cancer because he's got the kryptonite ring
Oh,
on his hand
yeah.
and it's been amputated. So, anyways, this is from the John Byrne post-crisis era of Superman. Just to be clear, Dan Jurgens, Roger Stern, Jerry Ordway, Louise Simonson, John Bogdanove come on for the Man of Steel begins. Like that first issue was found in this omnibus. So this is when, similar to like Spider-Man, there was a lot of books monthly, but it was reading like a weekly comic,
Yeah.
and it was really working. Like they were firing on all cylinders as a creative team. There's some stuff in here that's definitely cheesy. It is, over 30 years ago,
Yeah.
almost like 35 or so. But regardless, this is a lot of fun. This is I don't want to spoil all of the moments, but these are like key issues in here as far as the relationship between Superman and Lois. And some things were collected in trades before that you would have to get your hands on, lucky to get your hands on sporadic pieces of the puzzle to read during this time. Now it's all there. It's great.
Funny enough, when I was listening to the Comic Shenanigans episode, I did think, like, of course, that's probably going to be in your top 5. Yeah. And it totally slipped my mind. I haven't read it yet. I've got the book. I haven't read it yet. I'm desperate to read it because there's something just so cool about Superman. I won't phrase it the way that Brad just did in the chat about making it want to be a better man and less of something else. But it does, though. That's the thing. That's what makes Superman work. It makes you want to do better and be better. It's that people just go like, oh, it's all about the American dream. Like, well, it sort of is in that's supposed to, in the parts that's supposed to be about being better and, looking out for each other and all that. That is what he represents.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a feel-good comic. It's, I think what excites me about books like these being released is, me and you own clearly. I think I have over 100 omnibus at this point that you can and can't, right? We've got a lot of books. That's why we do this. But for this to come to my door and I still get excited for, oh my goodness, this is real. Because I feel we've talked about this before as well. Superman seems a little unrepresented when it comes to collected editions.
Yeah.
Especially for the time, like they're very good about the vintage stuff, the Golden Age and the Silver Age, putting that stuff out there, reprinting it. But they've never found a very concise, clever, consistent way of putting out the Triangle era or the post-Byrne. Like they didn't even make a Byrne. They could have done 2 omnis.
Apparently the scans were too small or something like that. It was like, well, just rescan them then. I don't care. Put it in an omnibus. Like, people want this in an omnibus. And you know what's going to happen is they will do them in an omnibus and I'm going to have to shift those books.
Yeah, for the third time, I'm going to have to redo. Yeah, exactly. But I think it clearly from all the different forms of compendiums and omnis and different types of collections coming out, it is no longer about simply the buy it, board it, bag it, put it away, and just remember that story and be careful when you read the book. Now you can just buy books and then it's not just nostalgia. There's a whole market of comic fandom that are people who want to jump into comics reading Swamp Thing.
Yeah, they do.
My one of my buddies is getting into comics heavy. Shout out to Filippo. He's reading Sandman and Swamp Thing from Alan Moore and whatever it is that piques his interest. He read the Grant Morrison Doom Patrol. So it isn't about being up to speed and what's Spider-Man doing now. It's like, what's the best stuff?
Yeah.
And some of it is 25 years old, and that's okay.
Is. And it still works.
And it still works. It's a good story. And that's what I love about these Triangle era Superman stories finally being put out there for people like myself who've always wanted to collect them instead of having to go to dollar bins and, there's part 2 of that Mr. Z story that might not be very good, but when you read it collected, it doesn't matter.
You always called these comics comfort comics, and it's such a good way to phrase it, because I when I'm sat reading Superman, it feels like I'm wearing a blanket and I'm by a fireside and I'm just snug, and it doesn't matter what anything outside of that sphere is doing. This is a happy place.
Exactly. So that's my number 1. I hope again, some of these are pricey books, but I hope you can find it on sale
Worth
and
it.
get your hands on it. And I hope they put compendiums out for the same. They make hardcover trades,
Yeah,
softcover
true,
trades.
true.
Make hardcover omnis or a
Fair.
compendium. Let people decide.
Yeah, that's a fair point, actually. It's a good point.
Yeah, because there's a market for it, it seems. People
Yeah.
want stuff like this.
They do.
Yeah, there's a whole different sector of comic book fandom and people like ourselves who do top 10 collected
Yes.
editions, not just no, great best stories of the year, single issue. Yeah. Number one, Dave. I'm waiting.
Oh,
You're number
okay.
one.
My number one, it's probably going to be pretty obvious what my number one is. But so I'm just going to go straight in for it. It's by Rob Williams and Piper. It's Petrolhead Volume 1. And
Yes.
one last time, this is not... I was sent a copy of this book after interviewing them. But I always have that apprehension of like, oh God, what if it's bad and I've got to talk about it? And I'll probably just go, yeah, this is the book. The book's out, so make sure you get it and give it a go. See what you think. But I loved it. I loved it so much. I read it twice, and then I tried reading it to my daughter, and then like we didn't finish for various different reasons. We will finish because she loves this kind of stuff. You know, she loves robots and everything. So remind me, I do need to keep it out so I can finish reading it to her. This is an absolute gem, hidden or not, of a series. It's from Image Comics. It's issues 1 to 5 of the series. 144-page trade paperback. So Rob Williams, you may have heard his name on a number of titles over the years, but Pi is relatively new. So he's not new to comics because he used to work for 2000 AD as a graphic designer. So he actually is friends with the guy who trained me to be a graphic designer, which is kind of funny. Yeah,
that's so cool.
So he's a friend of a friend, which was part of the thing. Was like my mate said, is Pete, again, who I've shouted out a few times, Pete Ware, said to me, Pi's doing a comic. And I went, I'll get him on the show for all it's worth. I don't know, it might help boost it a bit. See if it does anything. And they came on, and I did mention this before, but I interviewed them despite the fact I had COVID and I was feeling really rough. And after I did the interview, I basically passed out for about 2 days. I was so unwell, but I wanted to make sure I did the episode. I wanted to make sure I had just got it out. So as a thank you, they sent a copy of the book when it came out, and some stickers and stuff that I don't have to hand, and this illustration as well, which is of Petrolhead in his car with it's called Dave, and I can't remember it. A bird, I think it's called Dave. Not connected, I promise. I can assure you. But the art style is incredible. So Pi does he does all the art, the inking, the coloring. It's all him, and it's so bright and brazen, and another fun book. It's another fun. What's someone said?
Everything
Oh God!
Everything he says is true. Yeah.
Well,
can I just say,
yeah.
I bought this book off of your recommendation.
Yeah.
It would have made my top 10, but I wanted you to pick it and speak at length about it. No, but to just second your choice, it is that good. I had read Daniel Warren Johnson's Transformers.
You did.
Who people know how much of a fan I am of Hidden Gem, Daniel Warren Johnson's Do a Powerbomb and all that. But I preferred, it's not that they're the same, but I preferred much more Petrolhead as a story of that machine and human being connection.
Yeah.
More than I did Transformers.
Yeah, no, me too. And I'm a massive Transformers fan.
Yeah, and that's not a slight to any creator or the book, but that book is beautiful.
It is. It's stunning to look at. I didn't realize it's signed as well.
Nice.
Oh, you guys.
Nice.
That was really sweet. I think Rob was kind of going, I don't understand the format of the show. What's happening? I was so unwell I couldn't explain it to him.
Oh,
but it was great to be able to just have any involvement in it, which is of course minor from our perspective, but hopefully it got it into people's hands. And a few people did message and say that they bought it because of the show, which is fantastic. Not because
I did.
There you go.
Yeah.
But it's just I want this in people's hands because it deserves to be in people's hands. It's such
really
a great
book.
read. The art is, I can't praise the art enough, and no words I can sit here and say will do it justice. You need to pick this up. It's not just about detail, it's the storytelling. It's so strong. It's
Yeah.
just it's so strong, and the world building is great. It's a fresh new thing of all of its own. And it's been optioned for a film
Yeah.
already, and this is just volume 1, and there is going to be a volume 2 because this is it's
And BC Scrubs, I agree with you. The colors in that book really stood out to me.
pops
They're
hard.
it pops hard. It's almost like you can feel the colors
Yeah.
coming off the page. There's
Yeah.
something about it that are very rich but engaging. I don't know what it is about it, but yeah, it pops off the page. It's a great book.
It's a
Great
fantastic
pick.
book. He's a great artist and a great character, a really nice guy as well. And what was quite funny as well was on the episode where I interviewed them, one of their choices was Carly, which was a number 1 for us on like 2 years ago.
Right.
So
That's just because you
things
got
come
great
full
taste, Dave.
circle. Well, shucks. So there, yes, BC Scrub just said they posted on Instagram that the other day that they're already working on volume 2. So while you may not have seen an issue 6 pop up anywhere yet, they are still working on it. Imagine like Pye's doing all that stuff, all the pencils, inks, and colours essentially on his own, all himself. It's fantastic, and again, because it's British creators, so Pye is English. I think Rob is Welsh. There's a certain element of British humour to it, that feels so natural. Like the way the characters talk to each other feels very human, even though you're dealing with robots. It's a great book. I'm so made up to be able to talk about it again, just because I loved it.
It would be great to have them both on.
Yeah.
Interview, another
Yeah.
collector's item or whatever it is we
Maybe
could do.
just a straight up interview, maybe.
That'd be
just
great.
if they want to do it. Come
Yeah,
on.
that'd be great.
Come on, lads.
That would be awesome. Yeah, it was a great book, great pick. I'm so happy you picked it because, again, we could really love something midway through the year and all the things that we read. Something might not make the list or whatnot,
Yeah.
but I'm happy that it made your number 1. It's cool that they were able to be on the show, but the book is genuinely deserving of the praise that it gets and worth your money, worth your time, worth your money.
Completely worth the money.
Yeah, 100%.
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
We're going to
Dave,
steal that line from Parks and Rec.
There's a good top 20 this year, I think.
There's like 20 great books there.
Yeah, across different eras and different
Publishers.
genres,
Yeah.
publishers, yeah.
All sorts. Such like a real mix.
And I think that's the benefit of the incoming episodes as well, right?
Yes.
Being able to kind of think of what it is that what is still coming out, what's fresh to read, what you can finally collect, and end of the year it all comes together.
Yeah.
Yes, I love it. Good job.
Two.
Anything that
Didn't quite make it.
not so much. Okay, anything that didn't quite make it, or is there something that you really wanted to read that you didn't get a chance to? Because there's some stuff that I'm like, oh, that would make it the list, but I didn't read it.
Yeah.
In time, or didn't show up in time.
Yes, there was Justice League Dark Omnibus, which was the Rebirth era. I wanted to read that desperately, but I just ran out of time. Like I couldn't have fitted it in. There was just so much other stuff going on. I could only read smaller books. But I really wanted to read it, and I don't know if it would have made it or not, but I don't know. I had a good vibe about it, and it looks like a really fun book. On top of that, I really, really wanted to read Batman City of Madness, which is by Christian Ward, and I just didn't get to it. I think I was waiting for it to appear on, because I couldn't afford to buy as many books at this point, so I was waiting for it to appear on DC Infinite. And I think it is all on there now, but it was just time-wise, it didn't pan out for me.
Yeah, and I think that's just important to mention, because there's stuff like if we recommended it, it's because we've also read it to recommend it. Because I wanted to get into X Factor Volume 3 Omnibus from Peter David, which very likely could have made the list, because all I ever hear is fantastic things about it, right?
I meant to put it on my list.
But I probably would have listed it. Didn't get a chance to read it. Green Lantern Corps Omnibus, Peter Tomasi.
Yeah.
Didn't get a chance.
No.
Right? So there's plenty of good stuff that did come out that was collected and very worthwhile purchase or read. Wasn't listed here because we didn't get a chance to read it, but the stuff that did make that list, strong stuff.
Was there anything you really wanted to be on it that you did read, but you just couldn't fit it in?
Let me check my list of books we read. year.
I
If
do
you have
have
some
one
listed.
to
Yeah,
tide you
please.
over. So the one that I really wanted to get on, but it was just like it just got edged out, was Batman Superman World's Finest Volume 4, Return to Kingdom Come. I'm loving World's Finest from Mark Waid so much, and Dan Mora. Dan's not on the series because he's jumped over to Justice League Unlimited
Right,
now with Mark Waid.
right.
They're a killer team together. They're one hell of a team. It's such strong stuff. It feels like you're reading, not necessarily because I didn't really read Silver Age stuff, obviously because I wasn't that age.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't necessarily read DC until more recently because I was such a big Marvel guy. But it feels like you feel like a kid reading comics again.
Mm,
It's
that's a
just
great
got
feeling.
that feel to it, and it's so welcome. I'll take more of that,
Earlier,
please.
earlier in the episode, BC Scrubs and Omega Bread were talking about the potential crossover. Who would be the artist for that crossover? The way George Perez was once upon a time. I think Dan Mora and maybe Jorge Jimenez would
Yeah,
be great artists to do a
yeah.
DC Marvel crossover.
Oh, that would be so strong.
That would be good stuff with
Yeah.
Mark Waid writing it.
Oh God, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Give me a copy. Give me an omnibus. Give me the trades, whatever it comes out
Take
in.
my money.
A couple things that I did read with the intent of possibly thinking it would make this list. There's still strong options. One of them was Avengers Twilight.
Oh,
Uh, some in the Discord had mentioned that they had read
I
that and
think it was
recommended it.
Kyle. Yeah.
I did get a chance to read it. It was strong stuff. Not the most original concept. We've read that sort of story before, dystopian future, something with the Red Skull, older Avengers. But nonetheless, Daniel Acuna's art and the story from Chip Zdarsky is very, very strong. I love Chip
Huh.
Zdarsky. So check that out. Superman Lost from Christopher Priest. I
Didn't get
did
to
pick
it.
that up. I did pick that up and read that. I love Christopher Priest. Little bit of a what's the term, like that Deus Ex Machina type of
Oh,
ending,
okay.
like one of those like what happened? Well, is that a good ending or is that a cop out ending? I wasn't sure. There's kind of debate on how he finished it, but again, very cool concept. Story of Superman going on a mission, and he's been gone for an hour to everybody on regular Earth,
Yeah.
but he's been away in his own timeline for 20 years.
Right.
So he's
Oh,
returning
yes.
back. Very different, having lived a whole life, while Lois is like, you're only gone for an hour. And he's got kind of a PTSD.
Right.
So readjusting back into the world. That's still the same, but he's different. Batman the Cult,
Oh, of course
big
that
Jim
came out.
Starlin fan. Bernie Wrightson. I reread that after many, many years. I think it's the first time it's collected in a nice hardcover deluxe edition. So I got my
Yes.
hands on that. Beautiful book. Uh, of its time in a way, but still very, very potent story. You got Jason Todd as Robin at the time, and it's Batman being kidnapped by Deacon Blackfire and a cult. Basically, you can see where it really played an influence in the Dark Knight Rises
Oh.
movie. It kind of is that sort of there's portions of the book that I think that they pulled and used in the movie. The Bane kind of being the Deacon Blackfire with a kind of a cult
Oh, I
following,
see.
destroying the city and that sort of. Where's Batman? He's tortured, he's broken. That sort of idea. What else? Anything else? That's it. Yeah, those three books were pretty close. I almost picked a
No, cool.
series that was a single issue series that came out during the year, but it wasn't
Oh,
collected,
right.
so didn't make it.
Actually, you say that as well. The other one that I wanted to read this year was Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil, but I'm too far behind because I haven't read the one before that, which was from Charles Soule.
Soule. Yeah.
So I need to read that, and who knows, it might pop up because Volume 2 came out this month.
Yeah, there's a couple things from December of last year where we kind of gave ourselves
Yeah, we've got a little bit of leeway. There's another one that came out in December that may well make it. But that's why I'm not mentioning it.
yeah, Chip Zdarsky Spider-Man, that omnibus I read
Oh,
this year, which came out at the end of December. I was
yeah.
almost gonna sneak that one in. That's really good stuff too. I love Chip Zdarsky.
Yeah.
Soft spot for
do.
him. Yeah, so there we go.
Wow.
This was fun.
Whew.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
What's next in 2025?
Oh.
What do we got? we got to do an incoming next week.
We
Only
should. Oh
appropriate.
my god, we need to do an incoming. Yes, so we're doing incoming, but we're also going to do more top tens. I don't want to say what they're going to be because I like springing it on you. But we've been talking about what we want to do more of, and yeah, I think it's just going to be a fun year.
Please recommend stuff that those that are watching on Twitch or anybody that's watching on YouTube, send us a message on the Discord. What are some ideas for top tens that you'd like to have some fun with? We could do it.
Do it.
That definitely down.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, watching on Twitch, watching on YouTube, listening on your headphones at work or in your car. Don't forget to visit omniversecomics.guide.
Stood near your washing machine, whatever you're doing.
Whatever it is you're doing. Omniversecomics.guide is your one-stop shop for reviews, reading orders, podcasts. Me and Dave, and a couple friends.
Yeah.
Check us out. All right. Everybody, take care. Be sure to be here next week. And thank you. Yes, thank you, everybody. It's been a blast. Another year is upon us. Let's get to reading. Let's get to some incoming.
Let's get it on.
Dave.
Peace.
Love you, buddy.
You too.
Bye-bye for now.
See you later, my dudes. Bye.